Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we've got some really focused source material in front of us. It's excerpts from Rhapsody of Realities by Pastor Chris. And it drills down hard on, well, a very specific and absolutely central theological idea, how salvation works, and who gets access to God.
That's right. I mean, what struck me is how uncompromising these texts are. There's just zero ambiguity presented about accessing God the Father. It's positioned as the foundation.
Yeah.
So our mission today really is to kind of break down that foundation.
Okay, so we're doing a systematic analysis. First, pull out the exact scriptural claims they use to define this singular exclusive access.
Right.
And second, and this is where it gets really practical for you, the listener, we need to unpack the huge, urgent, real-world mandate that the devotional says comes directly from believing that first point.
Exactly. It's about connecting belief to action.
Mapping conviction to a course of action.
It's like applied theology in action.
Yeah.
If you accept this premise as the absolute truth, the sources argue it dictates everything. Your priorities, your daily life.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Starting with the absolute nature of the claim itself, it seems like the whole thing rests squarely on John 14.6.
That's the one. The source quotes Jesus. I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father, but by me.
And what jumps out immediately, reading these excerpts, is how much weight they put on one tiny word. The. Not a way, but the way.
Exactly. The writings hammered this home again and again. He's not presented as, one option among several. He is the path. Singular.
The definite article.
Yep.
Seems small, but here it carries immense theological weight.
It really does. It basically closes the door on any alternatives. The devotional even points out explicitly that if Jesus had said a way, well, that would leave room for other routes, maybe other philosophies.
Sure, interpretation.
But the way, the text frames that as just absolute. No ambiguity allowed. It's presented as a definitive fact for everyone.
It's striking how fast the text then links that exclusive access to, well, an absolute assurance. So once that single path is established, what's the benefit promised?
Yeah, the benefit is framed as eternal life and security within that life. The sources immediately pivot from John 14.6 to John 10.28, where Jesus says, and I give unto them eternal life, and they shall never perish, neither shall any man pluck them out of my hand.
So it's kind of a 1-2 punch. The access is unique, exclusive, but the security you get through that access is total, unshakable.
That's exactly how it's structured. The two ideas lock together. If you buy into the single exclusive path through Christ, then the promise that follows this permanent life, this total security, is presented as just as certain.
It links singularity with totality.
Precisely. Singularity of path, totality of security.
Which, of course, raises the stakes incredibly high. Because if there's only one way in, then missing that way, well, the implication is the opposite of eternal life.
Right. Eternal separation. Which leads us straight into the next big piece, how salvation itself is defined.
If Christ is the only access point, then it seems logical within this framework that salvation is found only in Him.
Yeah, the text makes that connection seamlessly. It moves from accessing the Father right into the doctrine of salvation.
So how does this connect to the bigger picture? I mean, does it address whether anyone else could offer salvation?
It addresses it head on. The devotional brings in Acts 4.1. A very direct statement about salvation's scope.
Okay, what does that say?
It says, neither is there salvation in any other, for there is none other name under heaven given among men whereby we must be saved.
Wow. Okay, so that really doubles down on the exclusivity from John 14.6. First, the path is singular. Now the name required for salvation is singular too.
Absolutely unequivocal in the writings. They state it plainly. No other path to salvation besides the confession of the lordship of Jesus. And this isn't presented as like one possible interpretation.
Right.
It's presented as the absolute truth, period. So for someone following this teaching, salvation isn't just a concept. It's tied firmly, non-negotiably to that specific name.
It's interesting too that the source material doesn't stop at Jesus being the path or the name. It seems to push his identity even further, using 1 John 5.20. What's the significance of bringing that verse in?
Yeah, that verse is crucial for locking down the theology here. It shifts from Christ's function being the way, the truth, the life, to his fundamental identity.
Okay.
1 John 5.20 identifies Jesus Christ directly as the true God and eternal life.
So, he doesn't just give eternal life, he is eternal life. He's not just the means to salvation. He embodies salvation itself. That's a huge theological step.
It ties it all together, doesn't it? If he is the way exclusively, and if he himself is identified as the true God and eternal life, then the uniqueness of the path becomes grounded in the uniqueness of his divinity. The whole claim rests on that identity.
Which sets up the highest possible stakes imaginable. If this is the absolute, unchangeable truth that salvation from eternal separation comes only through this one confession, then what did that demand of believers? What are they supposed to do about it?
And this is where everything shifts into high gear. This belief system, as presented, immediately translates into this massive, urgent, operational mandate. The sources are crystal clear because everyone's eternal destiny hangs on this.
Yeah.
We can't be quiet.
So passive belief isn't an option. Silence is actually framed as wrong.
Completely unacceptable. If you truly believe he's the only hope, then telling people about it has to override everything else. The devotional is insistent. Leading others to Christ must become your life's priority.
Not just a priority.
Life's priority. It's positioned as the central reason for existence for a believer.
That's an enormous mandate. I mean, if something's your life's priority, that dictates everything: time, money, energy. Does the devotional offer specific instructions? Or is it just a general be urgent?
Oh, it gets very specific. This urgency isn't left hanging. It's channeled into structured, organized action. The sources list concrete things believers are supposed to do.
Like what?
Organizing outreaches, planning crusades, setting up cell meetings, all designed specifically to get the gospel message out there. These aren't casual get-togethers. They're described as coordinated efforts.
And interestingly, a key part of this seems to be distributing the very material we're discussing right now.
Yes, absolutely. There's a specific recurring instruction to distribute Rhapsody of Realities, Pastor Chris's devotional, all over the world. The text itself becomes a vital tool in fulfilling the mandate.
So the message drives the distribution of the message. It's a self-reinforcing cycle.
Exactly. It ensures the core message is spread globally and then reinforced locally through these organized groups and activities.
And the scale of this.
Yeah.
It's clearly meant to be huge, comprehensive.
Right. And the writings elevate these actions beyond just, good religious deeds. They explicitly say believers are not just participating in religious activities.
So it's not about checking a box on Sunday. It's framed as something much bigger. A duty.
A high-stakes duty. And the ultimate purpose of performing this duty, it's defined as fulfilling God's highest calling. Okay? And the goal is spelled out. It's a rescue mission. Literally rescuing men and women from eternal separation and bringing them into the glorious liberty of the sons of God.
That language is incredibly powerful. Eternal separation versus glorious liberty. Setting up that stark contrast definitely adds maximum regency to, say, handing out a booklet or planning a meeting.
It has to. The perceived gravity of the eternal outcome is what fuels the intensity of the mandate. And the sources wrap this up by stressing that believers are entrusted with the responsibility of telling the whole world.
Entrusted? That implies a serious weight. And how are they supposed to carry out this global responsibility?
The instruction is clear. Do it passionately, boldly, and with urgency until every man, woman, boy, and girl has heard and received the gospel.
Until everyone has heard and received.
Yes. It suggests this nonstop worldwide effort that doesn't end until literally the entire global population has been reached and has responded positively to this specific message. The intensity reflects the belief that time is short and the stakes couldn't be higher.
So if we trace the argument through these sources, it starts with that absolute claim. Jesus is the way. Exclusive access, total assurance.
Then that certainty leads to the core doctrine, salvation in no other name. Confession becomes mandatory, tied to his divine identity as eternal life itself.
And finally, that exclusivity and the eternal stakes ignite this massive operational mandate, this relentless, organized global push to share the message, distribute the material.
Until every single person has heard. It's a very direct line drawn from a core belief straight to a life defined by trying to fulfill that belief in practice.
Right. It really flows logically from point to point within that framework.
Which brings us to a final thought, really, just based on these sources we've looked at, something for you, the listener, to maybe chew on. If your core belief system demands that telling people a specific message must be your absolute life's priority, and the stated aim of that priority is rescuing billions from eternal separation and bringing them into glorious liberty, how do you even begin to measure success or failure when the stakes are presented as that absolute? How do you gauge progress on a mission with infinite consequences? Something to definitely mull over.
Indeed. That's our deep dive for today. Join us next time.
For more information on how you can grow spiritually using Rhapsody of Realities, please visit our website, www.rhapsodyofrealities.org, or you can also visit rin.rhapsodyofrealities.org/salvation. Thank you.